Watch the ride.
It's not that hard, is it? Don't worry, I'm not going to start talking about society again. Hey everybody, how you all doing? As you may know, I'm on a bike and I'm walking around not too bad. It's been a month and a bit since the little off. And although I still have the hematoma in my leg and I still have a lot of the bruising, believe it or not, it carried on going down my leg and it's slowly going away, but that was the biggest bruise I've ever had. Even after my first crash, I think that was worse. But so yeah, the hematoma itself is still there in my leg, but thankfully it's nowhere nearly as painful as it used to be, so I'm actually now getting back to, I'm trying to rehabilitate a bit basically. I've been trying to walk as much as I can without peeing it off. In the earlier days I kept doing too much and it was peeing it off. Just sort yourselves out, I'm not dealing with this. Go on. Please go. Don't have stabilisers. Thank you. So I'm getting there, it's just taking a long time, and I do hope this hematoma is something that will actually go on its own and won't be one of the ones that needs to be removed in the future, sort of thing. But only time will tell. But as I say, yeah, I can ride bikes now pretty comfortably, so that's good news, because there is actually a bike I want to review, and I just found out I've got access to it, so I'm going to be doing that as soon as the weather allows. I've also got another bike-related video I've bought some bits for today and I'm planning to do that should be very interesting actually, but I'm not going to say any more about that. I just need it to be a nice day and then I can do it. Naturally, this is going to be a bit of a random one, I think, so let's talk about a few different things. Movie suggestions for you. I do this occasionally. There are 3 movies you should watch. They're all Japanese, I'm afraid. Shin Godzilla, Shin Ultraman, and Shin Masked Rider. And Shin Masked Rider is a motorcycle movie, kind of. It's very cool. It's a very interesting film. It's funny in places. It's great. As I say, all this sort of trilogy of the Shin films have been absolutely fantastic. I believe they're all available on Prime. Some of them have dubbing. Some only have subtitles, I think. It depends. I'm not sure exactly at the moment. Why is there a car up my arse? Shin Masked Rider is also in ways a little bit like a cross between Kill Bill and the Power Rangers. You'll know what I mean if you watch it. It's absolutely great. So there you go, there's 3 movie suggestions to watch. But as I say, be warned, they are not Hollywood blockbusters, they are... What was even that? Just heard someone go, "Brrr!" Where was I? Yeah, they're not Hollywood blockbuster type films. You know, the CGI isn't necessarily the absolute best, but it's great in the way that it's actually really good at the same time, and it's so stylistic. Anyway, 3 movies to go and watch. Shin Godzilla, Shin Ultraman, and Shin Masked Rider. And the Masked Rider one is the motorcycle related one. It's better than Talk. It's better than... What was the other movie called? Biker Boys. I wanted to say Street Boys, because there's a police channel, I think it's called State Boys, and I thought it said Street Boys, so for a long time when the title would come up I was like, Street Boys, they're on the street, but it's actually State Boys, but not to me anymore. Another little thing, as I say, it's quite good actually just to cover a few things that I've thought about, and you can't really flesh these out into full videos. Our local police have, as in on the island, the small police team have their own little like Facebook group page, and they posted a post on there the other day saying about, good news, we've been speed gun trained so we can come and catch you for speeding now. And the comments kind of blew up in their face a little bit, because people are like, sorry, what? How about catching the people stealing stuff? How about, you know, dealing with stuff like that? How about the antisocial behaviour that's going on? How about all the bike thefts that have been happening? How about the tyres getting slashed and the shoplifters and all the criminal damage? You know, what about all that? No, instead of doing that, you're going to fine people for doing 34 and a 30. And the other sort of thing that a lot of people are saying, which is completely true, is, well, when are these people speeding? Because when I drive around the island, I'm barely able to do 10, 15 mile an hour and a 30 because some old person's in front of you trailing along. And then when you overtake them, they're the ones that go to Facebook and go, maniacs overtaking me when I was doing the speed limit. You're like, you're not. If you're doing 30 in a 40 and someone overtakes you, that's fine. Get over it. Don't do 30 in a 40 if you don't want to be overtaken. But they make out as if they're doing 40 mile an hour and these cars are like buzzing past them at 80. It just doesn't really happen. So that's not great optics, is it? You know, the generalised view of the police, I think all police probably know this, is the public think that you're not doing enough for actually helping people and more about trying to gain revenue off of people. You know, people who are stealing stuff, causing criminal damage, you know, attacking people, stuff like that, are just like thrown in the court, back out the court, and then they go and do it again, and it's just backwards and forwards. And there's no real repercussions for their crimes. But then someone does a few miles an hour over the speed limit, and you want to take money away from that person that may be struggling for money anyway. Now, I'm not saying there's an excuse for speeding, but you know what I'm saying? It's not really the look that you want when you want support from your local community. But there was something in this post that made me realise why they thought speeding was the big issue. They said about how they'd taken feedback from their local sort of surgery, as they call it, where you can go down and talk to the police and voice your concerns to them about crimes in the area, and they'll, you know, they say that they focus on those things that people are talking about. The problem is that where they're talking to people was in a library between 11 and 1 on a Saturday. You do understand what sampling bias is. No one who's been working all week or has got kids or something like that has got the time to go down and tell you what they want you to do. So what you end up with is a sampling bias. Old people and NIMSBs with nothing better to do just go down there to complain to you about the shit that really doesn't matter that much. I'm not saying, you know, like ridiculous speeding, but people doing sort of 35 in a 30 is not the biggest deal, because, and I'm saying this in the context of, there isn't that many crashes on the island, and the ones that have happened, very few were related to speed. A couple were, but mostly they weren't. So the reason that post blew up in their face is because they had a sampling bias about what the people actually wanted, and then you have an optics issue where you're gloating about fining local people for a few miles an hour over the speed limit. But when people constantly comment about, well, what about the time my van got robbed and I lost 10 grand's worth of tools and you wouldn't even come round? What about that? How, you know, that's the problem. Optics, man. As I say, I'm not against the police. They're there for a very good reason. I'm glad for them. I just wish they were focused a little bit better on the things that people actually want solving and actually solve them. But it's not the police that's the problem there necessarily, it's the courts. Just, you know, the police do all the work, they get all the evidence, they work their butts off to get a case together, get it off to the courts, and then the courts just go, nah, throw them back out again. And then they'll go and do it again. That's why I say they need to work on the crimes from the top down. Go after the people stealing £10,000 worth of tools. Go after the people causing antisocial behaviour, slashing tyres, smashing windows, causing old people to not want to leave their houses, stuff like that. That's the stuff you want to sort out in a community. The past few days and the next few days I'm quite busy trying to sort out my tax return. I'm getting a bit close to the deadline, it's fine. I normally do it in early September, but obviously where I got hurt and I couldn't sit at my desk and my brain was not really interested in doing that at the time, I've ended up kind of squishing the deadline, which is fine, I'll get it done. I'm doing it bit by bit. I do hope this is a sort of autumn we have, nice and sunny and dry, because I can get some more bike reviews done. I can make up for lost time. As I say, I've got one lined up now that I've just found out about, and I've got another one I was supposed to have done ages ago. Oh, another thing that's been happening recently is they keep finding unexploded bombs and bits of old World War II ordnance on the beach, because they're doing the thing where they move the shingle from one end to the other. They have to do this because the sea moves it from one end to the other, and then they have to move it back to protect houses from the winter storms, which are going to start soon. I hope not quite yet though, just wait till like November, maybe December. Well, there you go, there's a few things to mull over. I'm going to go home, clean this bike up and get it prepped for the video I want to do. Hopefully tomorrow is the same as today and I'll be able to film that, and I think it's going to be really interesting, but wait and see. Oh, it's so nice to just be out on the bike going for a little cruise. Constantly being peppered in the face by flies. It's fine because it means it's still relatively warm. That doesn't happen in the winter. Okay, I'll draw the line now. It's getting a bit much. Ah yes, people pointing. You know, I've spent a lot of time walking around and listening to people that don't live here pointing and talking. They're normally talking absolute crap. There was one guy, I was just walking behind this group and he was pointing at these different things, telling them about stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's probably this is probably that, and I felt like, oh mate, everything you've just said in the past 5 minutes was completely wrong, but it's fine. They seem to be really captivated by what you're telling them, so it doesn't matter. They're never going to fact check this, but man, you are not talking much sense. Oh yeah, what a beautiful day. Right, yep, sorry. No time for lollygagging. I need to get back home, get this bike washed while it's still sunny and hopefully it can dry. I also need to ride the DR again. I haven't actually ridden that bike since the day it all happened because it's just... I'm mad. As long as there's a hematoma on my leg, I'm mad. I know it was entirely my own fault. It's fine.